Ransom Olds invented the assembly line, the automatic transmission, and the turbocharger. GM took all of it, then killed his company anyway. This is every Oldsmobile ever made. The pioneer. Oldsmobile Curved Dash, the accidental car that put America on wheels. A factory fire on March 9, 1901 destroyed every prototype Ransom had, except one. Workers saved a small curved front runabout nobody had prioritized, with a 4-horsepower single-cylinder engine and a $650 price tag built for the middle class. He built a production line around it, 425 units in 1901, 5,000 by 1904. The credit theft. Olds built the first assembly line in 1901, moving cars through fixed stations with workers delivering parts to each one. Ford built his version in 1908, added a mechanized conveyor, and became the man history remembers. Every textbook, every documentary, every school lesson gives Ford the credit. Ransom Olds had been dead for 2 years by the time most Americans learned he'd done it first. Oldsmobile Limited Touring, the car that cost as much as a house and humiliated a train. At $4,600, roughly $150,000 today, the Limited's 60-horsepower 6-cylinder engine, goatskin leather interior, and 42-inch wheels made it the most expensive American car of its time. In a nationally covered stunt, it raced the 20th Century Limited, America's most famous express train, and won. The own goal. The investors who forced Ransom out of his own company in 1904 replaced his $650 people's car with machines like this. Sales fell from 6,000 units to roughly 1,000. By 1908, GM absorbed the wreckage, kept the name, erased the founder, and began 6 decades of taking credit for other people's work. The rocket era. Oldsmobile 88, the car that invented the muscle car and accidentally started rock and roll. Oldsmobile dropped their new 303 cubic inch rocket V8, 135 horsepower, into the lightest body in the lineup. Big engine, light car, nothing else required. The 88 won more than half the NASCAR races it entered between 1949 and 1952 and is now recognized as the direct ancestor of every American muscle car that followed. The $40 song. In March 1951, Ike Turner drove his band to Memphis to record a session. Their amplifier fell out of the car and cracked the speaker. Producer Sam Phillips stuffed it with paper. That damaged, distorted sound, layered over a tribute to the Rocket 88, became what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame calls the first rock and roll song ever recorded. Turner wrote it, led the band, and produced it. He got $40. The saxophonist who sang lead got a brand new Rocket 88 from Oldsmobile as a thank you. Turner got nothing. Oldsmobile Jetfire, the world's first turbocharged production car, destroyed by owners who ignored one warning label. Oldsmobile bolted a Garrett iResearch turbocharger onto a 215 cubic inch all-aluminum V8, hit 1 horsepower per cubic inch, 215 horsepower, and priced the whole package at $3,045. The system needed a 50-50 water-methanol mix to survive. Oldsmobile sold it at every dealership. The instructions were printed under the hood. The graveyard. Owners filled it with plain water. Engines failed by the thousands. In 1965, GM offered to remove every turbocharger for free. Most owners said yes. Of 9,607 Jetfires built, fewer than 20 still have a working original turbo today. BMW and Porsche launched their turbocharged cars a decade later and got full credit for inventing the concept. Oldsmobile built it first, then helped dismantle every surviving example. The glory years. Oldsmobile 442, 4-barrel carburetor, 4-speed manual, dual exhaust. The name said everything. A $285 option package on the Cutlass in 1964 that became its own model by 1968. By 1970, it carried a 455 cubic inch V8, 365 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque, quarter mile in the low 14 seconds. The 1970 W30 paced the Indianapolis 500, still running in 2032. In Demolition Man, set in the year 2032, Sylvester Stallone unearths a 1974 4.2 from the ruins beneath a future city, the only car worth preserving into the next century. The audience didn't need it explained. Oldsmobile Toronado, 385 horsepower through the front wheels. In 1966, nobody could copy it for decades. The first front-wheel drive American car since the Cord vanished in 1937. A 425 cubic inch V8, 385 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque, all routed through the front wheels via a chain drive system with 0 electronic aids. 7 years and 1.5 million test miles to develop. Motor Trend Car of the Year, 1966. The handoff. Within 12 months, Cadillac took the blueprints and launched the 1967 Eldorado. Cadillac got the prestige. The Toronado's drivetrain later powered the GMC motorhome, essentially unchanged. The engineering was Oldsmobile's. The glory went elsewhere. Again, Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, a glass roof, a 455 V8, and the most powerful family wagon in America. A stretched Cutlass with raised rear skylights, optional third-row seating, and in 1970, a 455 cubic inch V8 under the hood. Muscle car engine in a family hauler because nobody at Oldsmobile told them they couldn't. The rerun. When that 70s show needed one car to anchor 8 seasons of American suburban life, they chose a Vista Cruiser. More Americans learned the name from a 1990s sitcom than ever bought one new. That ratio is an accurate preview of how this story ends. Oldsmobile Cutlass / Cutlass Supreme, America's best-selling car, 7 years straight. Then erased so completely, most people under 40 have never heard of it. From compact trim level in 1961 to the best-selling car in the United States by 1976. Not best-selling Oldsmobile, not best-selling GM product, best-selling car in America, full stop. Every year from 1976 through 1983. In 1977 alone, Oldsmobile built 632,742 Cutlasses. Mazda's entire US sales across all models in most recent years don't match that number. The Vanishing Act. GM dropped the name in 1988, replaced it with nothing anyone wanted, and watched decades of brand equity disappear in 4 years. The car more Americans bought for longer than almost anything else ever sold in this country has no successor, no heritage campaign, and no monument. GM simply moved on. New brand every week. Hit subscribe. The scandal and the collapse. Oldsmobile Delta 88. The car GM turned into a weapon against its own customers. In 1977, GM began secretly installing Chevrolet 350 small block engines in Delta 88s without telling buyers. The only evidence was an obscure ordering code buried in the paperwork. Brochures said nothing, salespeople said nothing. The breaking point, in March 1977, every major television network and newspaper in America ran the engine swap story. Thousands who had paid for a Rocket V8 discovered they owned a Chevrolet engine. Lawsuits followed on both scandals. GM settled both. The name Rocket had meant something specific since 1949. After this, it was just a word. Those customers never came back. Oldsmobile Hearst/Olds. The muscle car that violated GM's own rules, built anyway, off-site, on a technicality. GM policy prohibited engines over 400 cubic inches in intermediate cars. The Hearst/Olds left the factory as a standard 442, then went to Hearst Performance, where the 455 cubic inch W45 went in alongside silver paint, black racing stripes, real walnut inserts, and Hearst badges. Only 515 built in 1968. Technically within policy. Technically. The reward. Original 1968. Hearst/Olds examples now regularly sell for 6 figures at auction. The cars built by bending every rule became the ones worth the most money. The failed resurrection. Oldsmobile Aurora, the car that could have saved the brand, launched with the Oldsmobile name deliberately hidden. A 4.0-litre V8, 250 horsepower, completely new aerodynamic design that the entire automotive press praised without reservation. Then someone noticed. Oldsmobile appeared exactly once on the car, a small badge on the radio, not the hood, not the trunk. GM had decided the name was too damaged to show. The paradox. If the Aurora was strong enough to stand alone without the name, it was strong enough to rebuild the brand with it. GM chose neither. It needed 60,000 annual sales to survive. It moved 29,000 in year one and fell from there. Oldsmobile Intrigue, the last genuinely great Oldsmobile, cancelled before most people knew it existed. A 3.5-litre V6, 215 horsepower, with European-tuned suspension sharp enough to win comparison tests against significantly more expensive cars. Journalists who drove it were consistently surprised. GM cancelled it in 2002, 2 years before the brand officially died. The sequence, GM killed the best car Oldsmobile had, kept the brand alive 2 more years selling nothing worth buying, then killed the brand. A specific kind of institutional commitment to getting everything wrong in exactly the right order. Oldsmobile Alero, the last Oldsmobile ever built. The workers signed it. GM sent no one. A compact front-wheel drive sedan that shared everything with the Pontiac Grand Am. Same platform, same engine, different badge, higher price. On April 29, 2004, the final one rolled off the line in Lansing, Michigan, where Ransom Olds had started it all 107 years earlier. The workers signed the hood. The last 500 were painted cherry red, marked Final 500. No GM executives showed up. In 1985, Oldsmobile sold 1,066,122 cars. In 2003, fewer than 100,000. The brand that outsold every car in America for 7 straight years ended in a factory nobody from corporate bothered to visit on its last day. Ransom Olds invented the assembly line. GM killed his company with a press release on a Tuesday in December 2000. He'd been dead 50 years. He never saw any of it coming. That may have been the only mercy in this entire story. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore more legendary machines together.